One. Hey, sports fans, PB and Z, Sports Chaos. It's Memorial Day weekend. PB, you got sun. You're drinking a beer. Good for you. Here in the Northeast, especially in New England, it's going to be 72 hours of like the most biblical rain ever, I guess. We won't see sun until Tuesday or Wednesday next week, I guess. All right. Hey, we're going to talk a little NBA, a little NHL playoffs. We got a little NFL news we want to get out. But first, the 2-minute drill. MLB, PB, something happened this past week. No-hitters last week. Unbelievable, right? It was unbelievable. It was going on a streak. Speaking of streaks, we'll talk about this in another show, but I've been impressed by the number of winning streaks we've had this year. Tampa Bay just came off 11-game winning streak. A's had a 10-game winning streak after going 0 for 6. Sox had a 9-game winning streak after going 0 for 3. Yankees won 8. It's been the year of winning streaks. We'll talk about that. There's been some other ones as well. I think San Diego's been on a couple of 8-gamers. So impressive. Hey,
yeah, I feel like
go ahead.
I feel like it's the same for players too. I feel like they get streak in baseball. They get streaky for like a week and then they go on these like 3 for 25 slumps, you know. So when the team gets hot, it's a perfect recipe for those win streaks.
I've never seen it where this fast, this early in the season, we've had teams had these long winning streaks like right out of the gate. It's unbelievable. Hey, last week we talked about 40-year-old guys doing well, like Rich Hill pitching good for Tampa Bay. This week it's about a 50-year-old Phil Mickelson. He wins the PGA last weekend in that unbelievable windstorm down there on the Charlotte coast, right down in Carolina. Impressive showing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Good for lefty. Good for lefty.
Oh, all right. Hey, WNBA, PB, it's the anniversary of year 25. I love it. I think the WNBA is doing great. We had a little controversy this past week. Sun coach Kurt Miller, he came out, complained about a foul on one of his team against the Aces, Liz Cambage. I think that's how you say her name. Apparently, he said something to the ref like, she's 300 pounds. Apparently, that's something you can't do anymore in this millennial world where everybody gets a trophy and a sundae and everything else after the game. He got fined $10K for making that comment. But then Liz, she couldn't let well enough be alone after the fine. She had to go out and do this Instagram rant with her potty mouth for about 5 minutes. Liz, shame on you. Just eat some cabbage, Liz Cambage, or a lettuce or some broccoli, and then people wouldn't say stuff about you. Come on. All right, moving on. NFL. Big news. Apparently, Knew-Tebow looks like a tight end in his OTAs with no one touching him. He's doing well. He caught 2 touchdown passes in practice yesterday. Yeah. What do you think, PB?
I mean, the guy's jacked, that's for sure. He looks like a tight end. I think he's going to add some versatility. I mean, the Jacksonville's got nothing to lose and everything to gain. I mean, they've been one of the worst teams in the league for many, many years. And this year with Trevor going there, and the kid Robinson at running back, who had a great rookie year last year. They drafted another back. Plus they got, obviously Tebow to kind of mix things up a little bit. I see him in a Taysom Hill kind of role on that Jacksonville offense, But they're going to be interesting to watch. They're going to be fun to watch.
I think so. Right now, though, people are criticizing Urban Meyer, saying he doesn't know what he's doing. Obviously bringing in a guy that hasn't played in 8 years. Drafting Travis Etienne in the first round when he probably could have gone in the second round, and then moving him to wide receiver during the OTAs. But I think there's a method to Urban's madness. And believe it or not, as we talked about, there is not a tight end crop tree out there in the backyard. People aren't grabbing first round all-pro tight ends, because if they were, we'd have 32 all-pro tight ends in the league, which we don't, right?
Which we don't, right? And the key's going to be, can he block too? Because, if they got – their passing game, if he stays in tight, and then of course you got the running game there. If Robinson has even half of the season that he had last year, he did really well. But it depends how they're going to use Etienne as well. I mean, if you have 2 backs like that, you could do some damage there.
Hey, all I'll say about his blocking, we all know Travis Kelce can't block, and he's 6'7", like 280. So
Yeah, I think Tebow can block.
I think so too. Much better than Kelce.
Yeah.
Hey. Aaron Rodgers, is this thing getting very ugly or what? What do you think? I mean,
man, it is, and I mean it's almost like the Deshaun thing went on for a while, and it's kind of like the same feeling. It's like the team doesn't want to trade him; they kind of like forcing him to stay there. He doesn't want to be there. Just like Watson. I mean, obviously Watson got in a world of trouble with everything else going on, but it's tough. It's like these cat and mouse games that these owners play with the players, and the players play with the agents, and the players and the teams and the ownership. It just gets out of hand. But the bottom line is, if someone doesn't want to play somewhere and someone wants out, the team should really take a good look at that and take advantage of the situation and say, hey, let's get something for him while we can. Because if he doesn't play, if he holds out, if he doesn't show up, or if his head's not in the game this year, his value just goes plummets. And right now it's high. And you got a person who doesn't, I mean, if you owned a company and someone came to you and said, I don't want to work here anymore, what would you say? You'd be like, all right, see you later. And especially if you can get something in return for that, it's even a better proposition. So I think they need to do something with him. And the question is, where is he going to land?
You know, it's always been said that he might not be the most team-friendly guy, but 5 of his top wide receivers are all sitting out OTA. So that tells me that they got his back. So I don't know. Green Bay might be fighting the wrong fight here at this point in time. We'll see. Julio Jones. Atlanta wants a #1 draft pick, and supposedly the offers are out there for it. Do you think they're going to get a first-round draft pick for him?
They may. If they don't, they might get like a second with a contingency type pick or something like that, conditional pick. I don't know if you're going to give up one. I know the Patriots are on the list, the short list for Julio Jones, but the Patriots aren't the type of team that trades away first-round picks. So even though I think that would be a good fit for him, I don't know if it's a likely fit just because of the way the Patriots work in those kind of deals. You get teams like the Broncos and the even the
I've heard 49ers and I've heard Ravens.
And Saints. I was the other one I was thinking of.
And Saints.
Yeah. So I
the
mean,
49ers would be a very good fit. But what do they have? They just gave away 3 first-round picks to draft a backup quarterback in Trey Lance, right?
Yeah. So it's tough. I mean,
would he fit in well with the Ravens? Because Lamar is a questionable passer still to this day, right?
Yeah, the Ravens are another team that doesn't really like to trade high picks or pay people a lot of money at wide receiver. They just haven't had really a stud wide receiver in Baltimore. That's why I kind of think Baltimore and New England are the same type of management philosophies in that way, which again, I think they're good fits for Julio Jones, but I don't think they're likely fits for him there.
I would say a team like the 49ers, they could, who are positioned to win. And by the way, if you're a team positioned to win, that's the right team for him. Give up a 25th, 26th, 27th, pick, because it's going to be the same value at that point in time, right? At the end of the day. So we'll see.
Right. And I misspoke on the Broncos. I did not mean to say the Broncos. I was thinking Aaron Rodgers still in my head and not Julio Jones. So I did not mean to say the Broncos for Julio Jones. I don't think that's a likely spot for him.
Well, PB, hold on. Think about this. Talk about what Brady did last year. People want to follow him. Imagine Aaron Rodgers going to the Broncos. Julio Jones follows them. They got a great defense, right? They already have a couple of good receivers on that team. You put Aaron Rodgers on that team, they immediately bolt to probably 3rd or 4th favorite of the AFC, I would think. Don't you?
I would agree with that 100%. And the other teams that are looking at him, I mentioned the Saints. That one I was good with. The Chargers are another team that could be a likely landing spot for him. Him and Justin Herbert could do some pretty good things there. That could be a scary team. They're already a potentially scary team in the AFC this year. But if he lands there, that would be good. There's some talk about him going to Titans, Colts. I don't see those as likely spots for him, but he could end up in one of those teams as well.
Titans would be a good fit because they need somebody to replace Corey Davis. That would be an excellent fit. But again, I don't know if they're going to pay the money. They didn't pay the money to Corey Davis. How are they going to pick up his salary, right?
That's the problem. That's why I think the Chargers might be a good spot for him, and the Saints too.
I like you thinking by accident, but it was a good idea. Broncos, Rodgers and him on the Broncos, immediately they go to number 4, if not 3, as the favorite in the AFC. All right, speaking about playoffs, let's get to the NHL. Bruins won. They won their series in 5. Lightning won as well. What else you got? What was the highlights of the playoffs so far?
Well, I mean, obviously the Bruins was a great series, losing that first game in overtime, and then the second game is now in overtime, and you're like, man, if the Bruins blow this, they're going to be down 2-0, and rather they win, and then they go to 2 overtimes in game 3, and then from there they just just crushed it in the series. I loved it. I'm not a big fan of the Capitals. I'm not a fan of Ovechkin. And I really like watching the Bruins take care of them in pretty short order too. I have the Jets as a team that would be playing in the Final Four coming out of that division, and they took care of the Edmonton Oilers in a sweep, which was, I didn't think they would sweep them, but that was a great showing by the Winnipeg Jets. I know you had Edmonton in the Cup.
I picked the Oilers playing in the Cup. I thought, hey, with a team with Dreidel, whatever his name is, Connor McDavid, who's supposed to be one of the 3 or 4 best players in the league, to go lose 4 straight. I mean, that's embarrassing.
I couldn't believe. I thought that series would go 6 for sure, maybe 7. Then you had the Avalanche. I predicted a sweep over the Blues. It happened. I still think they're the favorite to go all the way. They have the President's Trophy, so they're going to be home ice all the way through. The next round matchup is going to be their toughest, probably when they have to face Vegas just to come out of that division. And that's the other thing. Vegas, I told the fans, I said, this series, watch out. This one's going to go 7. That was my prediction. The Wild, the Vegas Knights. Despite the Vegas Knights being a great team, that division is just stacked with good talent. So here you have Vegas, and they're playing tonight. Vegas and the Wild in Game 7. So we'll know who comes out of that division. And then, of course, we have the Canadians hanging on by the skin of their 3-0 lead last night to Toronto, tied at 3-3, went to overtime, and then the Canadians prevailed in overtime to hang on. They were already down 3-1. It's 3-2 now. But I think Toronto's going to go into Montreal in Game 6 and take care of that series.
Ooh, they're going to have fans there for the first time this season in Montreal tonight.
Oh, wow. That should be fun.
Yeah. All right, so you got all your picks still alive at this point in time for the Final Four, the Stanley Cup.
No, because I had the Panthers coming out of the.
Oh, that's right.
Which I should have stuck with my preseason prediction. I had the Lightning, but I just was being a homer. Panthers were looking really good down the stretch, and you know how much I like the Lightning. I've been touting them all year.
You have.
I just went against them, but I had them in the Cup with my preseason predictions. So I did have the Panthers and Bruins in my last week's show, and I had the Avalanche and the Jets as my Final Four. So I'm sticking with that, my Final Four.
By the way, you remember what I said about the Lightning? They had 3 guys that came back that missed a lot of time, including Kucherov, that missed the entire season, correct?
Yeah, he did.
Right now, he had 11 points in 4 games.
I know. That's huge. I mean, the way Vasilevsky's playing in net, they're going to be a team to beat. You know? Maybe
we'll table this for another time. But if the Lightning go to the final and win it all with guys coming back with hardly any playing time in the regular season, and if Brooklyn and LA Lakers, we're going to talk about the NBA in a second, they go to the finals with guys that didn't play the whole season. We got to talk about having eligibility rules, how long you have to play during the regular season. There's got to be something. You can't just rest the whole regular season and then show up for the playoffs and then help the team win because you're rested. Something's going to change. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah.
All right, let's get to the NBA. So we got some surprises so far, right? We've got the Knicks are tied with Atlanta. Who saw that coming? It's 1-1. We saw the Suns beat the Lakers, even though they're the number 2 seed. The Lakers are 7, but that series is now 1-1 as well.
No, it's 2-1 now. I think the Lakers.
I'm sorry, 2-1. Yeah. Correct. That's right. Obviously, the Celtics getting crushed by the Nets. We expected. One thing we did not expect, Mr. PB has his Miami team going to the finals. And what's the score there right now?
Oh, my God. They're down 3-0, and they're just getting crushed. I mean, they took the first game to overtime. They looked okay in that first game. But games 2 and games 3, man, Milwaukee was just killing them.
The other thing I didn't see coming was the other team that I picked going to the finals. I got the Bucks for one of them. The other one's the Clippers. They're down 0-2 to the Mavericks, going back to Dallas. That does not look good. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, they get a lot of hype as being 2 of the best 10 players in the league. Kawhi's won 2 NBA Finals MVPs. If he chokes this one out this year as well as like he did last year in the bubble, is his reputation tainted?
Very well could be.
Man. What other surprises in the NBA? Anything else you got?
No, I mean, obviously, well, Memphis beat Utah in game 1. That was a little bit of a surprise.
We didn't even have Memphis making it, right? We had Golden State in the play-in game. Same thing with the Wizards. We didn't have the Wizards coming into the play-in game either, but they made it to the play-in game, but they're not looking very – looks like they're going to be swept by the 76ers at this point in time, right?
Yeah.
All right. Any other takeaways for you?
No, I mean, we're right in the heat of that first opening series, so we'll have more to talk about NBA. We'll have our final 8 cemented on our next week's show. And,
by the way, tomorrow morning when you wake up, folks, maybe it'll be the first time watching the show, the Celtics will be gone, and hopefully Brad Stevens will be fired. No, I'm just kidding. The Celtics will be gone, though.
Well, no,
I'm sorry, 3-0.
They'll be down 3-0, which they're already gone. There's no way
they might as well be gone.
No way.
By the way, news just came in. Jason Tatum, he got over his hangnail. He will play tonight. All right, sports fans, PB, have a great Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy the sun. I'm so jealous.
All right.
Take care.
Thanks, Zeke.